Ooh, what is this? So I'm definitely going to get it done, but I just haven't gotten it done yet.
Well,
That's
I hope you don't have to tell that story again to David.
most likely.
But if you don't feel like it, I'll tell him.
It's not that big a deal.
Not
So-
now, is it?
Not now, exactly.
We'll have a nice.
Thank you. You're right. I need the class today.
You're the only one today.
Solo, huh?
Here, anyway.
Oh.
You need a hug, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
But it came out in good shape, so.
Good.
So, yeah, I was telling Jane, I got a letter yesterday
Mm-hmm.
from, this towing company in, Rhode Island. That 2022 Hyundai accent was in an accident towed to their facility by order of the Narragansett Police, and I'm responsible for the payment, blah, 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 blah. I'm thinking, oh, this is a scam letter.
Yeah.
So I call Narragansett Police. No, it's not. There's a real accident report. There's a real thing. The registration is in your name. And I'm going, can't be. Can't be. So I had a bunch of students coming last night, so I couldn't do anything more lessons. I'm like, what do I do? What's the first call I make tomorrow?
Uh-huh.
And so first call I was thinking would be the hotel company to verify that all the information is correct. Then I thought, if this is DMV fraud, I want big guns in this. So I called the New London police.
Ah.
They sent a detective over, and he came in. He made a phone call, got all the same information from the police department, and said, this plate number can't be because it's on the car that's in the driveway here. Something's wrong here. And so they're like, I don't know, we'll get the officer that wrote up the report wasn't there. So he called the towing company and he said, would you go out to this car and just check the plates? Tell me what the plate number is. Plate number was one number off.
That's all it takes.
That's all it took. So he called the police back, the Narragansett police, and said, you messed up. You gotta fix this. If I had said that, I probably would have gotten it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
But having a police officer there tell them
That was very smart.
Turned out to be the best one, the best decision I made on this one.
Yeah. Cool.
So, yeah. So and it was over in like 10-15 minutes. Took me that long to, gather the info, make some phone calls. And I'm like, shoot, because I was anticipating being on the phone all morning.
Yeah.
David, maybe I'll be there, maybe I won't. I don't know. Because it was just like, I'm not going to let this run for very long. But
yeah. So I'm expecting Carol, but probably not Shell today.
so
Have you heard anything?
I knew I saw her the day before she's going in for her MRI.
Okay, well, the MRI didn't show. The surgeon actually said that nothing wrong from my standpoint. So he sent her to a neuromuscular specialist.
Mm-hmm.
And the preliminary diagnosis is that she has ALS. And I don't know that that's definite and confirmed yet, but it does seem to make sense with what's going on, which is, so let's say the least, overwhelmed she and Craig.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
So, and the rest of us who know her, you know, it's just, I mean, she's been a student for over 25 years.
Longer than I have been.
And we've been good friends, and
She's family.
and she's healthy.
Yeah.
She really practices. She really exercises. She's active. She's a good person, which obviously doesn't mean bad things don't happen. My mother had ALS, and actually, eventually, that was what killed her. She got pneumonia and ended up not being able to breathe. So I'm familiar with it, and
It's devastating.
there is a new treatment. It was approved about 6 months ago, but it's not always effective, I guess. So I don't know. Shell may or may not be here. Carol had a dental appointment that she couldn't seem to get at any other time, and I don't know whether I think she's not going to be here at 1, it being 1:05. Oh, Carol just wrote. Dr. will come as soon as I can. Okay, that's fine. So,
Oh, poor Shell.
well,
Give her my best when we talk to her next.
I will.
Yes, that's,
I will. I
I hope it turns out to be something different, but
you know, it's just, I mean, seeing my mother go through it, you know, it's really, it's devastating.
Alicia's boyfriend that died, they have a genetic predisposition for ALS in their family.
You know, that's only 5% of the population. The other 95% are symptoms of the age of not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, Tim lost his mother to it.
Yeah.
And several aunts and uncles and things like that. So
That's awful.
yeah. So they've lost a lot of family members to it. But yeah. Oh, poor Shell.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you had to deal with it too, because it's devastating.
Although I have to say, the last 2 years of her life she spent with my mother, spent with me. She and my father had built a house. No, bought a house, not built a house, on top of the second highest mountain in Arkansas. She loved mountains. Great place, wonderful. And then my father died, rather tragically. And then she lived there for another 10 years and then discovered she had ALS and stayed there for I'm not sure, 2 or 3 years. And then I moved her in with me in Newington, and she lived with me in Newington for a year until she arrived at a stage in which I just couldn't take care of her anymore. But I found a place for her in a nursing home that was 5 minutes away. And actually, I was able to go over and spend time with her every day. And yeah, in that 2-year period, we had some of the best time together we had in years and years and years, because she lived before Arkansas, they lived outside of Chicago. So I didn't see them hardly at all. So that was the positive in it. but not a good thing.
It's almost the reverse, the inverse of Alzheimer's.
Hmm.
You know, Alzheimer's, your mind goes away, the rest of your body's fine. This one, your body goes away and your mind's fine. So they're both tragic.
Yeah.
And
I don't know which one is worse. maybe ALS, because you know what's going on.
yeah, you're aware of it. My father, with his Alzheimer's, he was aware as it was starting,
Yeah,
but then he wasn't.
yeah.
So
That's
So,
hard too. That's really hard.
yeah, it's a lot of work to be at peace with them.
Yep. So I think we should let go of all of that,
Yes, yes.
including yours.
That one I can, because it's resolved.
I think that worked out well.
That worked out much better than I thought. I was steeling myself for that big, long push and multiple telling of the stories and. Phew.
Yeah, I'm impressed with what you did. I'm not sure I would have thought of doing that.
Well, all I could think was DMV fraud.
Yeah.
You know, how else would you have two different vehicles registered
Just supposedly.
you know, with that kind of thing, and, you know, when they said, this is the VIN number, and I said, we'll run the VIN number came back to memory. And I'm like, so somebody fraudulently got this registration. That was what I was thinking. And I'm like, okay, this is now Rhode Island and Connecticut. So my first call was actually to the state police, and they said, no, start local first. If they need to escalate it to state level, they will. So that was my first thought is, okay, now this is interstate, this is fraud, ching.
Yeah.
Because the police kept, they were puzzled why I kept saying, well, no, my car is in the driveway. My car is here. I see it. I see all the plates on it. I'm touching it. You know? So it's just like, okay, I'm glad the police can handle this because the police in Narragansett weren't believing me. So
There's so many scams out there too. I mean, I don't think this was a scam, but this was an error.
what we've discovered is it was just a little typo.
Yeah.
That's all it was a typo.
Okay. Well, we're not going to do anything new today.
Okay, good. Good.
How's your practice?
It's good. It's good. It's getting much better. I'm feeling like there's enough other things that are healing that I think, like I said, I told you earlier, I was a little bit afraid of it to a certain extent because it was so painful to go inside and do. So I think there's enough other healing. I'm feeling much, much better with the practice.
Good.
So,
So are you having a sense of the either connected or disconnected little blockages to a larger blockage?
not yet. Not yet. I can, you know, I think I'm still playing catch up to a lot of the original stuff that kind of came in and is still here floating around mentally, but not quite in the practice. So I haven't been able to feel that yet.
Okay.
But like I said, the practice is getting better. It's doing a lot better. It's feeling comfortable. It's feeling like I can do it. You know, perfect example was last night, looking at this going, what's happening here? And I'm just like, I can't believe it yet. Go to bed.
Yeah.
And, you know, that kind of thing.
Good.
So there's a lot of things as far as that goes. Feeling the flow, feeling the energy is becoming much more natural, much more comfortable to actually do that. The whole sinking the mind, extending the mind. I'm starting to feel a differentiation. But at first, when you said that, I was just like, but I thought it was the same thing. And it took me a while to kind of figure out, okay, what's the difference? And then to feel the difference.
Yeah.
So that's starting to come into play.
And that does take time. That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
And I had the same response. You said that about Martha's the same. And I do remember the first time that was presented to me quite a while ago, but I remember having exactly the same response. But is that the same thing?
Yeah.
And then recognizing that, no, it's not.
Yeah, there's a slight difference. And it took a while to mentally grab it, but now it is starting to feel, I can feel it and starting to feel that. So I think as far as the practice goes, it's really doing a lot better. One of the things you mentioned last class was you were talking about the energy points here and the closing. And so I tried a little bit of it, but I'm not sure I was doing it correctly because I was like, oh, I'm not sure if this is right. So if you wanted to show me that again, we could do that. If you wanted to move forward into or rehash some of the, since I feel like I'm kind of playing catch up here.
Well, in some ways, yeah, you are.
Yeah. It was just, I think there was just so many other things that it was hard to, part of it was hard to sit. It was really painful to sit down.
Yeah.
And just pushing myself to do that. Not even on a regular basis, just on a semi-regular, occasional basis. That helped to push through that.
It takes a lot of courage to do this. It really does. Because whether we recognize it in the beginning or not, we're going to have to face things that we are not comfortable facing and deal with them and learn to live with them and learn to let go of them.
Right, exactly.
And so, it takes a while to recognize that you can do all of that and that it's okay.
Yeah.
You're okay doing it.
Right.
So, yeah, good.
So it was just kind of like at first I felt like I was beating myself up a lot. I'm not keeping up with class. I'm not doing anything, and so there was a lot of what with that. And I'm just like, no, just stay with it. Just hang with it. Do what you can.
Yep.
Good. It's your early statements of do what you can. And you'll get some benefit of it. So thank you. You had given me that earlier, so I was just like, okay, even though I'm not keeping up with the class, I'm gonna hang with it.
Yeah.
I gotta stay with it. And it's definitely starting to pay off.
Good.
You gotta stay there. Yeah, you're right. Those blockages. They're there because we don't want to face them sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yes,
absolutely.
You really have to be aware that you do kind of look at them.
So that new connection in the closing, and let me also say that there is nothing wrong with just connecting the Lagong points.
Okay.
It's not that that's bad,
Mhm.
but if you can feel that, if you take your 3 middle fingers and place them so that you're just going from the end of the heel of your hand up your wrist. Just above that 3rd finger, there is an energy point. And actually there's one on each side of the wrist there. So there's, as a matter of fact, I haven't even thought about this, but I just held them lightly with my thumb and my index finger, and I could feel them connecting. So, and so that connection of crossing, and let me say that there is being even more specific about this. The ideal is that when you are going to do that, that the first thing you do is that indeed you do connect the Lagong points, and then you go to the 4 points in the wrist. And you want to find the place where those 4 points energetically connect. And there is a place, I mean, I can't say exactly what you will feel, but for me, what happens is it instantly fills my hands and my fingers with significantly more energy, a huge amount more energy.
Just doing it just now.
Yeah.
I could feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's probably good early at this point to let them touch lightly. It's actually not necessary for them to touch once you clearly have that connection. They could be slightly separated and still do it. Matter of fact, it probably will be a little bit stronger if they're slightly separated. So it's a connection that we use in God's plane in the clouds. So it comes up.
Okay.
Let me let Carol.
Yeah.
Carol, I did say come in. Try.
Hi. Ah, Linda made it in person. Cool. David, you're muted. If you're talking, I can't hear you.
Oh, there it goes.
There you go.
There it went.
Got it? Okay, I was just gonna grab my glasses.
Yeah, no, I was there. It just was
Not,
being weird.
not accepting.
How are your teeth, Carol?
Oh, clean and shiny.
Oh, good. So we have started and just been sitting and chatting
Mhm.
about practice and the closure using the wrist
Yeah.
connection. So do you have anything you'd like to question or tell us about any of that?
I'm finding that very positive.
Oh, good.
It seems to me that there is a stronger feeling of the chi
Yes,
doing it that way.
yes, absolutely.
So I'm liking that.
Good, good. Okay, so
So should I be having my Montville ladies do that too?
you know, if they are getting the connection of the Laogong points,
Yeah, I'm not sure they're getting any connections at all.
so I don't know that it's necessary. I think that, as you know, I was just telling Linda that when you're on the way to connecting the wrists, you ideally connect the Laogong points and then connect the wrists, just as we do in 5 and 6
Mhm.
in Gods. And other postures.
Yeah, well, what I've been doing is connecting, because it's up and then so I connected up there and then here again and then down. Okay,
Yep.
I haven't been conscious of doing that.
I
But
hadn't
certainly
said
from
that.
here and then down and then reconnecting the Laogong at the Dantian
Mm-hmm.
is the part that I found.
Yep. Good. Okay. Well, let's do a little energy gates.
Okay.
I think one of my friends in the Montville class. Carol, do you have a Ann Megan in that class?
I had an Anne who just came once.
Oh, maybe that was it, because she travels a lot. She and her husband are retired, and she said she was going to some Tai Chi class and said it was a Carol. She thought it was a Carol that was teaching the class. So
Anne, I have to look at my list. The only Anne that I'm thinking of just was there once, and she's quite elderly and somewhat demented, apparently.
oh no, different Ann.
So different Anne. There may be, if so, it's not one of my regulars.
Okay, yeah.
So stepping out. Feeling your alignments. Aware of relaxing the qua. Letting yourself sit down a little into that base level. Helps to open up the pelvis. And let the energy sink through your body. And then extend your mind through your body. Then going into cloud hands. I wanted to say one thing about cloud hands. Just a reminder that one of the things in all of our movements, and all the practices we do, is we're trying to find the spirituality, if that's a word,
It is now.
of the movements. So one of the things is that that the arm movement is not straight up. The arm movement is like a curve. It's like you had curves going up, not straight up. So the movement, if I don't move my body to distract from it, has a circularity that's starting into the curve and then going up. It's going right on out. It does not come up here. It goes right on out. And then it comes back and down. And so we're trying to find that, all those curves. So there's that that sense that, that you're, in a way, you're compressing the ball and expanding the ball. So really trying to find that spherical sense in the movements and keeping them rounded and not collapsing or getting straight. Just a reminder.
Yeah, that changes how I was thinking about it. So I was worrying more about the rounding here.
Yep.
Than I was here.
Yeah.
But yeah, that makes perfect sense.
And one of the other things, just that always when we're thinking about the turning or twisting, that it is continuous. It never stops. It continues. So you're finding how you can pace all of that so that the arm never stops turning. It turns in one direction and then the other, but it never stops.
So I'm kind of using the same idea as a dragon and tiger here.
It is. But a little different.
Yeah,
It does, that's exactly right. It comes down to the claw, goes around and down to the earth. And then it pulls it back up and out. And back in and down and out. So there is that sense of pulling up to the center and pushing out and pulling back into the center and pushing out. Yeah, good. Let's sit down. So Carol, Linda and I had discussed earlier how, particularly since Shell's not with us today, we won't race into phase 3 of this practice. We'll stick with where we are for the moment. Which,
That sounds good.
yeah, it sounded good to me too. Seems right. So, so we will do that. So let us begin. Beginning with finding your comfortable but straight alignments. breathing with as much of Taoist longevity breathing as you can comfortably do. As you're going to be, of course, not focusing on breathing, but the fuller your breathing is, the easier everything else is. Let your breathing be very slow and be soft and regular. And again, let your mind sink through your body. Your body relax and extend your mind through your body. And then starting from the top of your head, solve downward until you arrive at a blockage. As you focus on that blockage you have found, then to recognize the little blockages, tiny blockages. You're connected or disconnected from the large blockage. It can be anywhere in the body or the mind.